Hello, everyone. I'm Rob Booker. Nice to be with you. Welcome to our morning webinar. It's an especially good morning on any morning when our robot did exactly what we asked it to do, and that is exactly what happened. A couple of days ago, I put the T6 robot on the Canadian dollar Japanese yen. You all know about that already. We've been down that road together. We talked about that in the webinars. We didn't really know what was going to happen, but we had a pretty good feeling that we were doing the right thing at the right time for the right reasons. And, well, that's exactly how things turned out. I want to walk you through what happened on that trade and talk about a couple of things that came up while the trade was open. Some questions I got that I thought were pretty spectacular. So turn on the webcam and say hello to you all this morning. Hi, everybody. Setting everything up here in the office. I got the monkey back and piggy back and my daughter's painting back, and everything's kind of coming together here. All right, let's take a look at the MetaTrader 4 workstation here. This is the Oanda, my live account, and I put the T6 robot, which is a trend trading robot, on the Canadian dollar Japanese yen. And it found a trade here on a reversal arrow, which is part of the Knoxville divergence indicator. And a reversal arrow is not actually anything at all. It's fake indicator. It's fake indicator news. It doesn't exist. A reversal arrow is based on the MACD. We haven't really ever gone into that, and maybe tomorrow in our webinar, Wes, we can explain what the reversal arrow is. Never done that before.
Yeah, I mean, you could explain it to me. I have no idea what it does.
All right, your crack indicator explanation crew is on the job. The first trade that it found was on the 10th of July at about 1 p.m. MetaTrader time. Then it took another trade below that level just a few hours later. This robot can theoretically only add to a winning trade. I've heard from one of you that said it added to a losing trade, and we'll investigate that further. We'll work out the bugs. We'll send an extermination team to work out that bug. It had 2 trades at the time, and then it had a third trade about a day later at 7 o'clock in the morning MetaTrader time on July 11th. And then it took a 4th trade. Now, this is where I start to get nervous if I'm watching the charts. Never in my life am I willing to, in a discretionary manner, just start pounding out those trades and press the button myself. But if a robot's doing it, I'm not even watching this. I'm not getting an alert about it. I don't care. It has a stop loss on it. And at this time, Wes, we had a 75 pip stop loss on this robot.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
So if all 4 trades, if this started to go into a loss, and it started to back up, there would have to be a cumulative 75 pip loss for this trade to close out. And that would be pretty difficult to happen because these trades are spaced out pretty nicely apart. If they were all bunched up really close together, we might have a problem. And that's something to consider, Wes. If we add too many trades too soon, any reversal causes the stop loss to get hit more quickly. And think about that in the past. That's a way to break a robot, is to have the robot take a bunch of trades tightly packed together, and then if it reverses on us, that stop loss could get hit more quickly. However, if the trades are spaced evenly apart, think about this for your own robots out there, boys and girls. If they're spaced out evenly together and this starts to be a loss, this one's still in profit, kind of offsetting the fact that this is a loss if it reverses. That's pretty great. Okay, and then we dropped a little bit further, and we hit the profit target. And since then, we've even fallen further. I know some of you have not even closed this trade yet. Yesterday, in the middle of the day, I actually, Wes, I don't know if you were around for this, I changed the profit target on this to increase the number of pips that this would go for. I saw this moving nicely, and so I jumped into the robot and I changed the profit target. This is method number 2, a great way to break your robot, by the way, everybody, is while the robot is running, start making new decisions about how you would like that robot to trade the markets.
Make the decisions for the robot. Yeah.
Yeah, and what I realized yesterday was we spent some time in our private members webinar, and we talked about how the Japanese yen is a really prime candidate for this particular robot. I mean, if you ever look at the currency market and you ever look at the Japanese yen, this robot right here on the screen, whichever way I'm pointing, is amazing. It is really spectacular at doing the job, and so I increased the profit target to 200, and I felt pretty great about that, and I'm glad that I did. In retrospect, I could have increased that profit target to something like 300, and still not had a problem, and probably even 400 and not had a problem. And I'm really satisfied with the way this went. Anything you would add to anything I could have done here while the trade was open, Wes, to break this? I think I made one significant mistake, which was changing the profit target midstream. Are there any other ways that you think that I could have jumped in here and caused a problem?
I mean, you could have closed MetaTrader. That certainly
Okay.
would have broken it.
Yeah, I mean, if MetaTrader's closed, it can't take a trade. MetaTrader has to be open all the time. That's why we're here on my Mac, and I'm using a VPS, a virtual private server from Microsoft Azure, who sponsors this webinar. That's not actually true, but they should for all the
Oh
money we've
man,
given them.
that'd be pretty cool.
Um,
Yeah.
I keep a VPS running so that MetaTrader is always on. And even with that VPS running, I know that some of you that run it on Amazon or other places, sometimes that VPS will restart over the weekend. So you just gotta watch things pretty closely.
Yeah. Another thing you could do is change the currency pair of the robot,
While
or
it's
change the time frame of the robot while it's running.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. These are really good points. Very, very good to see here. Mark the Great says, I got a manual trade open waiting for it to be to fall even farther. And Mark is up on this total trade 1,800 euros.
I
Just
wonder how
let
many
that
pips
sink
that
in.
is.
What would you do with 1,800 euros right now?
Me? I
Yeah,
would buy a PlayStation 4 and a big television for the office.
I think that's a pretty great idea.
Yeah.
That's actually a really that Mark says that's a great idea, Wes. Well, I'm gonna go on the hunt right now for another candidate for this robot. I don't mean to be greedy or anything, but it would be nice to see if we can find another candidate, another currency on which we could run this robot right now. It does look like the Mexican peso is coming up pretty soon on a situation where we are going to want to turn this robot on. It's dropping pretty fast. I would guess within the next 2 or 3. Oh, there it is. There it is. I am guessing within the next 2 or 3 days we are going to see a bullish divergence down here on the Mexican peso. That is not the kind of line I wanted to draw. We're going to see a red line here on the 1 hour chart, and then possibly a move up. And I may go ahead in the next couple of days and turn this robot on next on a buy trade on the US dollar Mexican peso. Now, we've never turned the T6 robot onto the Mexican peso. In fact, Wes, we've never even back tested the robot on the Mexican peso.
That's very much correct.
And the profit target on a Mexican peso trade would be something like 2,000, 3,000 pips.
Sure. I have
Yeah, it would
no
be pretty
idea.
big. It would be
Yeah.
pretty big. Each unit of movement on the Mexican peso is worth 1/10 of what it is anywhere else. That means if you had set a profit target of 2,000 pips, you're really setting a profit target for like 200 pips in financial rewarding terms. But this is that's looking pretty good. I've wanted to look at the British pound currency pairs also recently to see if anything might be setting up. It doesn't appear that anything's quite ready yet, but it might be getting there in the near future. Yeah, nothing, that's not set up right now. Pound New Zealand, not even close. Oh, wow. Wow, yeah, that's not even close. Let's just finish off. We're going to do a quick webinar today, but look at this. I want to just take a look at that channel that it's trading inside of. If the British pound New Zealand dollar breaks out of this channel, guess where it's going, everyone? It's going to fill up another channel of equal width. That is a really great looking channel right there. And if it jumps up, it would fill a channel one level higher of the same width. But that is right now, that is a really good looking setup. If it breaks down into this channel, you might consider a sell trade with a stop loss up above the midpoint of the channel up here. That might be an interesting thing to do. Well, it's very nice to spend some time with you. Having login issues today, says Jack. Oh, I'm sorry, Jack. It's always nice to see you here. And our other friend, Rodrigo, says he traded the Swiss yen when we were trading the Canadian dollar, Japanese yen. And that was a very beautiful looking setup as well. All right, everybody. When we come back tomorrow, we're gonna describe to you how this reversal arrow indicator is built, and then we're gonna do some back testing, if we can, on the Mexican peso with this robot. How does that sound, Wes? Does that sound all right?
I think it sounds pretty fantastic.
All right, our members webinar starts in 20 minutes if you're a member. Otherwise, we will see you tomorrow, everybody. If you want information on membership, you can, once again, one last day we'll do this. You can get information above on Facebook in the link, or below the video on a sign-up button, or below on YouTube on the link, and we will see you tomorrow. Thanks for being here, Wes, and everybody else.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.